Hey guys, Rob here. Thought I'd shoot another video. Something that I just haven't seen thus far. I mean, we do a lot of videos on arrows and bows and shooting styles and whatever. So I thought I'd do a video on quivers, or a particular quiver. Now, there's always a lot of discussion out there about what style of quiver to get. And that really is a personal preference and choice, depending on what you're going to do with it. There's obviously all of the different target style quivers. There is the ever iconic back quiver, which we see a lot of, out there in the movies and especially European cultures and so forth. Really super neat quiver. I love the looks of it myself. Tried it myself, didn't work so well for me. I'm kind of really thick through the midsection, so reaching back here is just, I tend to do all kinds of contortions trying to get my arrows. So as I endeavored in this search for what was going to work for me, I thought, I'm going to go back to my own heritage, which is in a little part Native American Indian. And watching some of Gray's videos, he kind of sparked, hey, what about the traditional? So I decided to give the traditional idea a shot. Now, before I went spending a bunch of money on a traditional quiver made by some great master of leatherwork and so forth, I decided to make my own, which I did. And simple, several layers of wool blanket and some internal material folded together with some straps out of the shop put together or whatever. It's kind of rudimentary, but it works. And so I started using this. And the more research I did and the more understanding I came to of this quiver, the more I began to appreciate it. So this is my giving you an understanding of this quiver, and maybe you too will appreciate it also. I haven't seen anything that really explains this quiver as I've come to know it. Now, quivers throughout history have been used to obviously hold arrows, but they have been used under basically two different sets of circumstances: hunting, providing for the family, and warfare. Now, the Native American Indians were some of the iconic nomads and rovers in our world. We all hear about the Mongols and all of those, and because of the way history has worked, history has tracked them a lot more thoroughly, so we see a lot more of their culture bleeding into archery. But the Native American Indians have been around for a very long time. They've been doing this for a very long time, and they were really good at it. The bow and arrow was one of their primary weapon systems and one of their primary means of hunter-gathering. And so, being nomadic, roving, they developed a system that works very well. So that's what I'm going to try and explain to you guys. Now, the native quiver, as you will see it most typically used by Gray and myself, is usually worn to the front. Now, we wear it to the front for a number of purposes. Number one, it's out of the way. Number two, we can easily see our arrows. So if we choose to have arrows with field points, arrows maybe marked with Zwicky Judos for stumping, maybe we have flu-flus, we can easily see, pick and choose which arrow we want and withdraw it. Whereas if it was, say, on a back quiver, we'd be doing contortions, trying to see it, bump it up, pick what we want, and so forth. Here, it's right in front of us. It's right there. And as some of us will do, we'll set our quivers up so that we can actually physically separate them a little bit too. Say flu-flu's up, at the bottom, and my target arrow's up in the top or something, my target fletchings. So it makes it very easy for the arrows. It also is a great point to start attaching things. I carry a tab also. I've got a clip on it. I've got ties, so I can tie my bow onto it, okay? You'll see some that are made with pockets for carrying extra stuff. One of the other benefits of a native quiver like this is in the hunter-gathering mode is when we're traveling through the forest and stuff, and you'll see fishermen do this, they'll carry their pole and they'll feed their pole through the brush and stuff if they're getting into tight brush, and they can guide their pole through without getting it snagged. Same thing is true of this. If I've got it tied on here or whatever, I grab this, I can weave my way through the brush and keep clear of snags. And I'm not snagging my arrows, my bow, or anything on the brush because I'm watching where it's going. I'm feeding it through. So that is, or that presents some of the benefits of this particular quiver when it comes to hunting and gathering. Now, another aspect of these quivers is they're typically made out of very soft, pliable materials, not a heavy-duty leather that's all rigid. Now, this is done for a number of reasons. One, it's easier to get a hold of and make. Number two, it has a really important value. Because this quiver will fold, as we carry it and it gets a pressure point, say for example my leg, and causes the quiver to fold, it binds the arrows in the quiver. So I can sit here and my arrows are pointing down at the ground, but they're not falling out because I've got this bindage going on. So an important aspect of Native American quiver is works best if it's soft and pliable, not a big rigid tube. Okay, so that's hunter quiver. Now, as I said, the other aspect of this particular quiver for the Native American Indian is, to use a modern terminology, it's a good tactical quiver, because the bow wasn't just a means of hunter-gathering. The bow is also a means of defending yourself and your family and your tribe. And a lot of times, obviously, when they're doing their daily thing, they're not going to have the bow and quiver on their person and in their hands. It might be sitting somewhere. And all of a sudden, the attack is on and I got to defend myself. The neat thing about the American Indian or the native quiver is the way this would work is with my bow hand, I would retrieve my bow. Now, whether it was strung or not, who knows? Hopefully so. With my shooting hand, I could then grab this quiver, throw it over my head, and tuck it around behind me. Okay? We'll talk about why it's behind me in just a minute. And it's there. 1, 2, and I'm ready to roll. Okay? Now, the quiver being behind me, such as it is still very functional because I can look and, if need be, select what arrows I'm going to use and draw them out, knock up, and I'm ready to roll. Now, I am in no way, and have not as of yet endeavored on training to be a combat archer. But as you can see, it's a fairly smooth flow there, okay? Even for somebody who hasn't trained in combat archery. Most of my archery is stumping and target shooting, but it works. Now, another little side aspect of this quiver being back here. Being trained in the combat arts and so on and so forth, one of the things that I've always been taught, one of the things the Native American Indians I think understood very well, is when your primary weapon system runs dry and you have no more ammunition for it, it's time to ditch it, get it out of the way, and continue the fight through other means. If you have a quiver hanging around the front of you, loose nothing banging around, it makes your defense, self-defense and fighting a little bit difficult. But if, as we donned it, it's back here, it runs dry, now I have to go to, in a Native American sense, my tomahawk, my knife, or my bare hands in a wrestling match. This is out of the way. It's not encumbering me in any way of taking care of the rest of business as I need to. So anyhow, I think that, trying to keep it short and sweet, that pretty much covers the native quiver and its uses and purposes. I personally have grown to like it, but that's me. I would not cast doubt on any other system. It's what the individual needs, wants, and what works for them. But just for a little education, there's your Native American quiver. Beyond that, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully it was informational to you. And don't forget, Facebook, come join us on Clan TST. You guys take care.